Yo, what's up, man?
Thanks for coming to Morning in the Morning, Z90. Appreciate it.
It's good to be here, man.
Have you been to San Diego much? You know much about San Diego?
Man, this is my third time here.
Okay. Have you had downtime here?
I've never had downtime.
Oh, you got to come back.
Maybe one time. The first time was vacation.
Okay.
I was just cooling it.
Yeah.
Went to the zoo.
Oh, okay, you got to go to the zoo. Were you tired after the zoo? Because that thing's up and downhill.
It is, man. You walk. It's hot. It was hot as hell, man. Gosh.
Man. And that's saying a lot, being from Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, man, it's crazy. The weather's so cold everywhere, man.
I'll tell you something. San Diego has the same vibe I think ATL does, where people are well-to-do, but it doesn't mean they act like it. They're still really down-to-earth.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. I got a bunch of questions. I got some bold stuff to say about you. I sat last night listening to your music, and I think this. For all, we'll just get right to it. For all that Kanye boasts about being an artist and being the greatest this and the best this, and I don't hate him for that. I appreciate that he's passionate about what he does. I think you are taking hip-hop, pop, rap, I think you're taking it in a new direction by expanding. I think there was somebody that was going to come along, and they were going to take hip-hop, they were going to take that and infuse it with melody, they were going to infuse it with instrumentation, and people have dabbled, they've tried. Usually ends up sounding like a mashup. I think you're the first guy that said, no, this is bigger. We're going to do music. I'm going to work with Haley from Paramore. I'm going to work with anybody and make real music. Do you agree with that?
I concur.
Yes, you concur. I do. I don't think anyone else is doing it, and I don't think you understand how big that is, because I think you're going to have a lot of people that follow you. You're going to blow up a lot bigger than you even realize. I think you are changing the face of the way hip-hop is going to be done. I think you're ahead of the curve.
Powerful statements.
It's a very powerful statement. I'm putting a lot on your shoulders.
Hey, let's do it. I'm with it.
Do you feel that? I mean, because your music really isn't. If you listen to Airplanes, if you listen to any of the music that you've done, there's a lot of instrumentation. There's a lot of melody.
I definitely feel like, a lot of my projects and a lot of my work has been geared towards, the progression of hip hop. And the way that I do it, and what I'm trying to do, I'm like, man, nobody's doing this. It really hasn't been done. I'm really pioneering some stuff.
Well, because I've always thought this too. It's tough for the average person for someone that loves hip hop and knows it, they're going to go to the show and they're going to feel the music.
Yeah.
But for the mainstream, they're going to show up at a hip hop show, and if they don't know the music that well, it's not as exciting to watch, because it's really someone on stage kind of going back and forth. Yeah. Once you add instrumentation, once you add the melody, it becomes more of a show.
Yeah, it's about how engaged. It's the difference between getting on stage and rapping and emceeing, because when you're really the master of ceremony and when you're really controlling the crowd, that's when it becomes something greater. You know what I'm saying? That's when music really has its power, and I feel like the melody and just the art of people singing along with it. That's what it's about, really. You know what I mean? It's not just about them looking at you. It's about everybody participating in it.
And that's a little bit, it's funny because music's a little bit different that way now, because back in the day it was about the big rock gods and the big performers and the big guitar and the big hair and everything big. And now I think there's more of a connection with the audience.
Definitely. The connection with the audience is everything. That's what I rely on. That's my forte, is being able to connect with the crowd. And when you really start to tap into that, first off, you can't even do that unless you have a certain certain understanding about what music is and what the crowd, when you're performing, what's happening. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I totally get that. Have you ever been up there and you just can't, there's somebody that you see, everyone's having a good time, but there's that one person who's not feeling it. You're like, I am gonna get you and I'm gonna make you feel it. Have you had that? The cooler.
It'll be everybody standing up, it'll be 5 seats and everybody sitting down in 5 seats. I'm like, what is up with the
What do?
You gotta just,
Do you go harder? Do you stare them down? Do you go on? No, I got you. I'm going to get you up. I'm going to get you.
No, yeah. We isolate them. We point them out.
You do?
Yeah.
We do. You call them out straight out?
Yeah, you got to call them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to your roots. You're a young kid. You go to your folks. You're like, look, I don't know if the school path is for me. I feel music in my veins. That's what I want to do. How'd that go down, that conversation?
Man, I remember I was 14, man, and I was I felt like I had an ultimatum. I was like, the decision that you feel when you're about to graduate high school and you got to go to college and make real life decisions on what you're going to do with your life. That's what I felt at 14.
How come?
I don't know, man. Like, I took rap so seriously. You know, I took it way more serious than a 14-year-old should have.
Was there something happening in your life that made it feel like an escape or something? Because I know you came, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like, for me, it was therapy. You know, I would write, you know, just to, like, to not go crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, you know what, this is kind of dope. You know, I could do this. You know, I think just the creative part of it is what made me become so engulfed inside of it, you know. So, you know, I could just like go in this zone and just black out and just write and then record. And I would like record on my laptop. I'll have like a desktop microphone. I'll go in the bathroom, hang up sheets. I hang up. Poor sound man proofing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny when you start to read the Jay-Z biography. It's the same thing for him. They find that connection with words, and it almost becomes like an obsession, especially for someone who raps, because your words are your knife, your whatever it is.
Yeah,
that's
words
your
are
weapon,
weapons. Right? Yeah, words are weapons. And, like, you know, growing up listening to, like, ferocious MCs like DMX and Eminem, and, you know, like, I mean, the best, you know, Nas, like, these are, like, these moments in hip-hop will never happen again, because it was, like, you know, it's the 90s. It was, like, hip-hop was, you know what I mean? It was, like, the new wave of culture that was emerging amongst like the youth, or at least in my generation. And so now we're the offspring of that. So it'll never be nothing like this again, you know, until it cycles back around.
I feel that way with you. I feel like it's going to come along, and I really say this not just to flattery, but I say this legitimately. I feel like there's going to be a generation of people that infuse their rap hip-hop roots with a lot of instrumentation, melody, and it becomes it'll become its own genre of music.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, you'll take, like, if you look at everything that I spent like years and years learning how to do, and the next generation, they figure it all out at once.
Yeah. So
there are like musicians out there like who are playing guitar and rapping right now, and like they're gonna be, you know, I'm paving the way for them.
And I'm going to ask you about this. We're going to take a break real quick. We're talking to B.O.B. It's got a brand new album coming out. It drops on the 17th. That's called Underground Luxury.
Yeah.
I've listened to some of the other interviews you've done, and you've alluded to the fact that it's edgy. I want to talk about that, too. You obviously are aware that there's a new crop of people coming. For someone like you, since 14, you've been in the game, so you're a veteran in many ways. I want to talk to you about intimidation and not so much insecurity, but just when you're in a creative endeavor, it's tough because everyone's taking their shot, and it just depends on what's going to catch. So we'll talk about that next, all right? And I heard that you, is this true? Your first car you bought was a Lambo?
Yes.
You don't mind talking about that?
We can talk about it.
All right, we're going to talk about that. We're going to come back with B.O.B. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Thank you for coming by, man.
Right on.
It's Jam and Z90, 906.